They like jet airplanes. They like long limousines.
And that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold says, "Are you ready?"
You're listening to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast.
Hey yo, ooh, yeah.
With your host, Kinny Killa and the Galdem Sugar Show. Hello everyone and welcome to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast. It is Sunday, episode 31. It is me, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, the one man with no Instagram, Kinny Killa. And you know I'm always kicking it with the dude, the hashtag tech guy, the Welsh wizard, the Galdem Sugar Shugs.
Yo.
Yo. And also, don't forget we have, we're a Segway family, so I have my brother here, Jace Clarkson.
I've been trying to think of something funny to say, but I can't come up with one. So.
Oh, hey, listen, in the show, in this Raw, there's plenty of laughs to go around, so we'll get to that. Also, it's 4 weeks in a row, and he's the master of the top rope elbow. It is Steve Dawson.
Morning, all.
Morning. And people, we have a very special guest today. He is the Sunday Segue #1 fan, and we've allowed him to come on the show. Long time waiting, Mr. Louis Hatton. Shugs, play his goddamn music.
'Cause I got a brand new combine harvester, and I'll give you the keys. Come on now, let's get together in perfect harmony.
Louis, how you doing, man?
Yeah, not too bad, mate.
You excited? You ready?
Yeah.
Does this feel like a dream come true?
Not so much a drink on true.
Come on, man, you better be
underwhelmed.
bigging up the show, man. Come on.
Exactly, it's a perfect weekend. City won, and you're on the Sunday Segue. One more could you want from life?
Truro lost as well. Then.
Okay, great.
Truro. Oh, God. Okay. All right, we're just going to get straight into it, guys. Please, Twitter followers, follow us on Twitter. It's at Sunday Segue, SEGUE. Email, the Sunday Segue at gmail.com. Also, you can listen to our old episodes on YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, and download that Double Twist player. So quickly before we get into it, Louis, as you know, it is time for the best Fandango impression. So, plus your current favorite WWE superstar and your favorite of all time. So
he's been working on this all week. He's been just walking around this. Okay, I look forward to it.
So without further ado, Louis, Fandango, please.
Fandango.
Shugs?
I'd probably give it a B-. A B-. I would prefer more on the go at the end.
Steve, what do you reckon to that one, mate?
It wasn't bad. The A's weren't breathing too much. I'd probably give it a 5 or 6.
Oh, good. Okay. So who's your favourite wrestler of all time, Liz?
Shawn Michaels, no doubt. Grew up watching it with my brother. My brother was a Shawn Michaels fan, so came in the family, I guess.
Okay. Okay. So who's your favourite current wrestler?
I think that one's pretty obvious, to be honest. Damien Sandow.
Damien Sandow, the intellectual savior of the masses. God. Okay. Damien Sandow. There you go. All right. Cool. So, people, you heard it first. Louis Hatton. We're gonna go into the shout-outs right now. Just gonna give a couple shout-outs to people who are following us on Twitter. So let's give a shout-out to. Let's just have a look. Which one shall I start with? We will start with Mr. Michael Ritter. We also start with Michael Cook, punt kicker. We also start with the ringside review and off the top rope. So thanks for following the podcast. Shugs, you want to say a quick thing about the message board?
Yeah, so we've set up AO Pro boards just for those people, want to give us more info or want to give us more feedback really about the matches. So, and like Raw, SmackDown maybe, or any pay-per-views. I know it's hard to fit a good review into Twitter. So, James Powers 33 gave us a hell of a review, and we'll read some of his points and give his predictions at the end. So anyone who wants to, just shout out, just go to the forum and have a look.
Have a look indeed, people. Okay, so we're going to go straight into Raw. Segment 1, Triple H, Steph, Big Show. Steve, Triple H, Steph, healing it up as usual. So Big Show just happens to be a master hacker and hacked into the broadcast feed.
I think there's someone else to come into this angle. I don't think Big Show is the master hacker. I think maybe Vince will come back into it, and it'll be revealed that he's on sort of Big Show's side, and he's the one sort of trying to get him back on the show.
Okay. Lewis, do you reckon that Big Show, will get involved in the finish to the WWE title match tonight at Hell in a Cell?
I'd like to think so, but I don't really see how it could happen. Obviously, it being in the cell, there's not much that could happen that could affect it.
Shugs, what do you reckon?
I think he'll probably come down and pull the door off, or punch a hole through it with his big punch and punch the door off. I don't think there's going to be a clean finish. I don't think the way the angle's gone that you can have a clean finish, unless they just want to stop it completely tonight and start on with something else on tomorrow's Raw. I just think that it's going to be another dusty finish, as we should say.
Another dusty finish. Jace, what did you think of, the general feel of the segment? Because Big Show looked like he was, shooting a little bit, shooting the breeze, and Steph did a wicked kind of storytelling part when she was gonna, speaking to the ringside production team.
Yeah. I thought it was really good. I think something that I read. Where did I read it to? I don't know if you lot have read it. But apparently, Big Show's in cahoots with the hashtag tech guy Shugs, who obviously rigged up the Titantron. That's all what went on. But no, I did like the way that they were making a point of showing her just having a go at everybody at ringside. How has he got on? How has he got on? And just the countdown was kind of cold, just the way he just cut off.
I know you would do some shit like that. Just cut man off straight away.
That's the thing. I wouldn't even give him the countdown. I would have just looked at him and just. Okay, yeah, he's gone. Okay, that's cool. I thought it was weird that Steph and Triple H there was so many PDAs on the way to the ring. There was a hug at the top, and I saw there was a kiss at one stage on the way down, and it was
Whoa, mama! Get a room, you two! We're in a room! Why lose some weight?
Why are you two suddenly being so lovey-dovey?
I think it's just they're just healing it up, and they want us to hate them even more, and them doing that is just look at these two, And I think that's what it's there for us to hate them even more than we already do.
Yeah, we were mentioning it last week, about them doing the little PDA thing, and then Michael Cole and JBL and all them were looking a bit kind of what the hell's going on? But healing it up as usual. This led into segment 2. They called for Ambrose, and out came Bryan. So it was Bryan versus Ambrose. Steve, what did you think of this match? Because there was some really good kind of ring psychology and selling, wasn't there?
Yeah, brilliant. Every time Bryan and Ambrose get in the ring, they never disappoint. I'm not as interested in Ambrose as I was. I think his really shitty US title reign has really sort of maybe not really sour on him, but I'm way more into Rollins and Reigns than I am Ambrose now, which is a shame, really.
Yeah, Shugs, how long do you reckon they should have left together?
I think there's a while yet. I think there needs to be some big storyline where they usually people implode, rather than anything else, and I don't think that all these outside things are going to be enough for them to break up. So it's going to be something from within, I think, that's going to split them up. But yeah, I know what Steve was saying, that I don't think I've gone off Ambrose. I just don't think he's got as much action as the rest. Where it's when you're US champion, you don't seem to wrestle as much. Rollins is always seemed to be involved in the finish and these big spots in the matches. Reigns is the beast, so he normally takes people out and finishes. And then Ambrose is more the psychology guy, so he doesn't seem to get that much action as everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Jace, did you like the the little counter finish
Yeah, was sweet. But there's a few like spots that I noticed in it because Ambrose done a bit of overselling. There's one bit where there was like a hurricane off the top rope. He landed, then sort of sat up, and then like shuffled and hopped forward, and then led. And it was just like, all right, calm down. But no, I thought it was a good match with a good back and forth, and like no one got their ass kicked, and obviously the reversal to finish was really good.
I did notice a little botch in there, though. I don't know if anyone else did, but I noticed there was a little botch in there, but hopefully it doesn't end up on Botchmania. All right, well, let's go on to segment 3. This is a CM Punk promo. Lewis, I mean, was it me, or did it seem like Punk's promo kind of sounded forced, like he couldn't be fucked?
I'd have to agree with you. But like, the whole time through it, I thought, because he was on the stage, I was just assuming that someone was going to come out and attack him, but it didn't.
Yeah, but, it was anticlimactic, wasn't it? Like,
yeah. Well, I guess they're just trying to make it a bit less predictable, so people can talk from the stage more often.
Yeah, well, they also, like, you know, messed that up quite a lot because things, like CM Punk has said, things do often get quite predictable. Shugs, you know, the payoff better be big with this. I want to see, like, Heyman fall off the cage.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be going, like, up top. Maybe, like, a Ryback, maybe spears Punk through the cage, or I think we might have a big spot, but I just don't think anyone will trust Ryback enough for any of it, for any big spots, really, you know? Because Ryback doesn't seem to look after the people he's in the ring with, and, like, I was reading about him getting some backstage heat on him as well. So, you know, I don't know where it's going to go. Like, maybe this will be a way of taking Ryback out of the Paul Heyman angle, but will it stop the Punk and Heyman angle? That's what I mean. I think it needs to stop, but whether it will stop after tonight, I don't think.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right about the dirt sheets, you know, backstage heat he's got. Apparently, they're thinking of putting him with another wrestler, hopefully Wade Barrett. Chase, you ever seen a Flying Walrus?
I haven't ever seen a Flying Walrus, nah. Like, I know we've got the predictions later, but I can just see, you know, certain things that Punk was saying about, like, putting Ryback to sleep, and then, you know, I can see Heyman trying to escape. But I'd love to see Heyman try to escape up the inside of the cage. I think that would be quite entertaining. Just, like, caught in a corner, like.
His one hair piece, like at the back, dangling up. Oh, God. All right, well, we're going into the first segue view, which is Triple H, Steph, and HBK. You know, HB Shizzle being his normal kooky self. Steve, how important do you think, you know, this segment was? Because HBK was kind of trying to put over Daniel Bryan as a credible, you know, WWE champion.
Yeah, I thought it was quite a good little segment. I mean, last week I was saying that I thought that Triple H might try and get Shawn Michaels to, like, throw the match for what's good for business, but I didn't see any sort of signs of that in this segment. Yeah, they had a hug and it all seems to be good at the moment, but whether Shawn stays impartial for the main event, I don't know.
Yeah, I might see a sweet chin afterward, but who gets it? Who takes it? Obviously, money usually is on Randy Orton, but I don't know.
Did anybody notice how, like, Shawn Michaels entered through the door behind them, but exited stage left?
But hark! Or is it hurt? The cage door is open. Ajar even. What a chintzy outfit. Can't even afford a lock. So exit. Stage left. Ah, freedom at last.
Like, because he said, like, he's going to go have some fun and then didn't go back out the door.
yeah.
He's walked into a closet or something.
Some sitcom stage.
Wrong door.
Shugs, this was just brilliant. Triple H said, and I quote, okay, "Have you seen Daniel Bryan? We are not a wheatgrass company."
But yeah, apparently, like, Triple H has been getting a lot of heat as well because, you know, he's doing these, like, shoot promos, and he's, like, always bringing these little bits in, like when they had Edge on the show. And apparently, like, when he said about Chris Jericho, that Jericho tweeted and then deleted his tweet.
Yeah.
You know, because he's shooting on all these people, and he's comparing Daniel Bryan to these people who have, like, gone before him, but it seems like he's treading a fine line. You know what I mean?
I mean, obviously he's the COO and stuff, but it's like they're taking it too far, and they're taking it too far.
Yeah, I don't think he's taking it too far because I think that's the good thing about CM Punk. You know,
Mm-hmm.
is that work shoot, and the same with like Heyman. They're shooting, but they're keeping it within the storyline, and I think that's what you need. It needs to be more. We're in like the reality era now, you know, so they have to talk about real life stuff as part of the storylines, and it's just hard, just treading that tightrope, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well that's the end of that, and this is the beginning of segment 4, and which was Santino, Khali, Hornswoggle versus Free Megabyte. And guys, I'm laughing because I'm just gonna put it out there and just say, what the fuck?
We can't go on together with suspicious minds, and we can build our dreams on suspicious minds.
Jace, I know you was you was killing it when you saw Khali out there with this wig on.
The thing is, it was just the whole match. They dropped so many, puns and all that. Like, I think I counted 9.
Oh my god!
I couldn't get them all, but you know, it was like you ain't nothing but a round dog. I can't really say, but it's like, I can't wait until he's left the building. Like, and they just kept dropping so many lines throughout the match. It just had me laughing. Like.
Oh man, Louis, man, was you laughing as well when you saw this?
Yeah. I think, as Jason was saying about the quotes, I think my favourite was when Santino won and Heath Slater was going to Heartbreak Hotel. That was the best.
Oh, Steve, you got to love a bit of cheese, don't you?
It was. I was actually surprised when I was looking on Twitter about this segment. I saw a lot of people hating on it. I was just laughing all the way through it. And how can you not love a cobra with a little Elvis clip on it? I was cracking up when he brought that out.
Elvis Cobra! It was Hornswoggle though. You just see this dude, like this little dump that's at the top shaking his hips like. Wouldn't that be great? Just seeing him and El Torito together, just shocking out. 2 little mans just shocking out to Elvis. Like, that'll be a sight. Oh, good. All right, well, let's go on to segment 5. Ziggler versus Orton. It was a nice back and forth match. And the crowd was also into both guys. Shugs, you still kind of surprised that, you know, the crowd's still behind Ziggler despite his fall from grace?
I suppose it's like a difficult one. It's just like, after that, the night after WrestleMania, the best show that we had all year really, and Ziggler looked like he was just going, through the roof. He looked like he was going to be the next big thing, and then nothing happened really. I think the concussion derailed him, and he's never really got back. He lost the belt, and he's just been out of the picture, So I just think I don't know how they're going to get him back to that spot again, or how he's going to get back there. Whether they've lost faith in him as well. Mm-hmm. You don't really know, because he doesn't seem to be even on the outskirts of any, sort of upper mid-card. He had this match against Orton, but it's a throwaway match, really. Mm-hmm. Even when he was one of the outlaws who was being punished by Triple H for speaking his mind, at least he was involved then. But that angle has disappeared as well, and he's just nowhere.
Well, I mean, Steve, it doesn't even look like Ziggler makes it onto the pay-per-view tonight, does he?
That's a shame. He's such a talented guy, and I was thinking, if he hadn't got his concussion, what do you think he would be doing now? Do you reckon he would still be in the world title picture? I don't think he'd still be champion, but do you reckon he'd still be upper mid-card main event?
Who knows? I don't know. Maybe, but like you said, you're right. He wouldn't be champion, but he probably would be there or thereabouts, because obviously the rosters are so thin. But yeah, he took it out of nowhere. RKO. Lewis, did you like the finish?
I think, as with all of the matches like this, they all end pretty similar. So, but yeah, it's a good to finish. Mm-hmm. As in, obviously Orton was going to win the whole time, but it's a good match overall. Right,
well, we're going to go on segment 6. AJ, Big Mummy Cool. Versus the Bella Twins. I thought Nikki had a bust leg, but obviously she's fit again. This match was absolutely shocking, Jace. Absolutely shocking. I'm not even going to ask Chugs, because I know he took a piss fake.
The thing is, I was watching it and I was kind of like, you know, why is it that they've always got to have a butch lesbian in the ring? I just, you know, there's always like this tank, this enforcer that seems to be there at the women, like. But one thing that I did notice I didn't clock before is like, when did Brie start rocking the X Factor? Well, I didn't even realize that she did that as a finisher. It's only like the last couple of weeks I've noticed it.
Sorry, what did you say, Steve?
Yeah, she's been doing it for a few months at least. I remember seeing it. She's been using it for most of the year, I think.
Okay. Yeah, first time I noticed it. That's how little I usually pay attention. That caught my attention next. I was like, hold on.
Watch out for the Bronco Buster. Just hope that she doesn't take it too far and end up like X-Pac. If you know what I mean, Shugs.
Do you know what I was gonna say? The thing is, if it was like a mixed tag team, you know, I don't think a man would really mind getting the Bronco Buster.
Jason be volunteering.
Hey, I'm a good, clean, wholesome virgin. Leave me alone.
Yeah, when you want to be. You know, AJ is obviously the only good thing out there right now, Shugs. But I just love how Brie like tries the babyface scream and gets absolutely blanked by the crowd. Come on!
Her voice is so annoying.
I've literally got the same thing in my notes, Steve. It's terrible. It's like, can't bear it.
Yeah, I just think they're obviously they've tried to push her. As someone, you know, the WWE always get this wrong. Like they try and push people, and we don't want them. We decide who the baby faces are and the heels, like, you know. And when they try and force someone on you, it's just people go against them even more. You know, they're just letting her scream and carry on and just paying no attention. At least on SmackDown they can pipe in some crowd noise, but on Raw, you know, you're left with your real, true life reactions, and she ain't getting any.
She ain't getting none. So we'll just leave the divas right there because we only do a little snippet. And we're going to go into this segue review, and I'm going to leave this piece of greatness, which was Heyman and Ryback and Axel, to Shugs. So Shugs, do your stuff, bruv.
So if I was Heyman's physician, what's his name, Dr. Tenenbaum, I think I would be worried about his blood pressure because this guy was going off the scale. You know, he went on a mad one. First, he was talking about all the different ways you could be executed, like electrocuted, lethal injection, like poison, and then he was compared himself to like Mount Vesuvius and the lava, and then he just like switched and then just calm again in like 1 second. So, you know, I'd be worried about his like mental stability. But, you know, it was just like a hell of a promo. It's just like Heyman's the best thing on TV, really. Every single week, you know, even though they've dragged out this angle and they've like squeezed it for everything it's worth, Heyman is just quality every single week without fail.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong there, man. You're not wrong there. Renee, obviously, she has to be there when Heyman's going in. But when Renee's about, we often think that someone's ass is going to get kicked. Jace, in steps, Big E. Did you think Axel was getting choked out right there and then?
I wondered what was going to happen. I could kind of see, you know, Big E putting his hands on Axel and then something like him and Ryback, and just everything in their path is getting destroyed. Like, think back here to the 90s when we had Street Fighter, the movie. And there was Zangief v.E. Honda, and everything just got smashed to shit, like all the walls, everything. I could see that happening, but unfortunately it didn't.
I would have loved to see that dry lunch Weetabix kid just get dealt with. But we'll see. We'll see later on tonight. We'll see in Hell in the Cell. All right, segment 7, Wyatt family, Harper and Rowan versus the Bullbag and Kofi Kingston. Was it just me, guys, or did you just enjoy and have a massive smile on your face seeing the Bullbag get his ass completely fucked up?
I would have enjoyed it a bit more if he got some of his douchebaggery in. But, you know, he just jobbed, didn't it, really?
There goes that word again. Every time we hear douchebaggery, we should put a ding! Like... Oh, good. Shugs, what do you think of Harper's clothesline, man?
Yeah, I think they're selling the clothesline. You know, people are getting, especially like someone like Kofi when he does like a fucking 360 and lands on his face when they come off the clothesline, and it makes it look like, you know, a devastating move. You know, if you can, when you've got a big move like that, you've got to get someone who's going to sell the shit out of it, you know, and that's what happens.
Steve, Steve, do you think that, I mean, the Wyatts will be on the pay-per-view, and will Kane like make a return?
Is Bray Wyatt on the? He hasn't been booked against Miz, has he?
No, not as of yet. But
no, because he was injured, wasn't he? I don't think they would. I think they'll leave that for another pay-per-view. I think they'll leave that another month. What's the next one? Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Just give him an extra few weeks to get fit.
Okay, so what about this? Do you think they'll shoot an angle, some kind of angle then, where he's not actually wrestling, but maybe Bullback gets stringed up or something?
Well, yeah, they've done that on Smackdown already.
Oh, is it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Well,
Spoiler. The thing is, I just thought it was really weird because, you know, like when obviously there was the Wyatt Kane going on, he kept saying follow the buzzards, and we thought Kane was maybe going to turn and join the Wyatts. Like, I figured to myself, how would that work if they managed to turn the Miz? Like, who would care? Like, if the Miz suddenly started to follow the buzzards, like, how would that work? How would they turn that? How would they twist that?
They couldn't, because he's not eerie enough. He's not even nowhere near, like, he's too prim and proper.
Do you know what it would be? I think when they're walking into the ring, I think like Bray Wyatt would have his pocket hanging out, and I think the Miz would be hanging onto it.
Like Teabag.
Does Teabag have a real name?
That is my real name.
Just there in nothing but tiny pink shorts.
I think you've thought way too much about this, Jace.
Yes. There's no need to take it, my friend.
Sorry. Cut that from the final.
Don't.
No.
Lewis, do you like Bray Wyatt's promos?
Yeah, I mean, they get a bit repetitive, but yeah, I enjoy them because, like, Bray Wyatt is like, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I enjoy Bray Wyatt pretty much.
He's I think that, like, he's different, isn't he? Like, there's anyone on TV who's doing what Bray Wyatt does. Like, Punk's great, Heyman's great, you know, Triple H is good sometimes, Stephanie's getting better, but then Bray Wyatt is just completely different from all the rest.
Yeah. Alright, well, let's just go on to segment 7, which is Big E and CM Punk versus Axel and Ryback. There was a slight altercation at the beginning. It was meant to be Axel versus Big E, and then they just decided just to double team and just try and deal with Big E. But to no avail, CM Punk comes out and deals with it. So, Steve, Big E came over really well in this match, didn't he?
Oh yeah, I think they're pushing him for the Intercontinental title. Mm-hmm. I think that Big E's going to take the title off Axel, and yeah, like I was saying last week, his gimmick in NXT when he pinned people for 5 counts, I reckon that could do some good for him in the main roster, at least against some of the lower card guys, maybe Axel or some of the lower card heels, put them down for a 5 count. I think that'll make the crowd really sit up and take notice of him and get him all over.
I would love that if he did that tonight. If he won on, and he just did the 5 count, he said, he just said, do it again, and did the 5 count, and the crowd would just be chanting like, one more time, and just carry on going. Because as usual, the Weetabix kid was just null and void in this match. He just needs to just dry out even more and just leave, just finish that gimmick, because it's just Michael McGillicuddy. That's all it is. Jeez. Next segment, which is another Segue view, which again, I will leave this piece of greatness to Shugs.
Wow.
R-Truth.
R-Truth? Oh, mate. So, R-Truth has gone from a fucking preacher in the trailers, preaching, to just being that guy on the side of the street who's just trying to sell you some, like, copied CDs and DVDs, and he just went on a rampage. The guy didn't even take a breath. He was just going in, selling all that shit merch that the WWE got, an Undertaker piggy bank, these different T-shirts, just pure shit. But, it made you want to buy it. I was looking for WWE.com. I was going to put in, the special code for 20% off, because he was selling it to me.
He was wicked, man.
He
was so, like, it was such, like, a breath of fresh air. It was so different, but so funny, Jace. Oh,
The thing is, I was going to say, like, you know when, obviously this is a bit of a British thing, so I apologise to the American listeners, but you know when you go to the market and there's that big trailer and the butcher's in there selling his lamb chops,
get your
bacon.
chops, chickens, we got your chickens, come on, chops.
Yes.
Bag of mince, come on.
That's how our truth is carrying on.
I love the effects, Shugs. I love the Oh gosh, I better stop it because I'm gonna start laughing too hard in a minute. I can hear Steve in the background. He knows exactly what he's talking about. Oh god. All right. Enough of that. Let's go on to segment 9, which is Real Americans versus Ton of Funk. Real Americans, Steve, they're almost faces due to Cesaro, but Uncle Zebekiah just started to heal it up with his bullwhip.
Yeah, this is obviously leading on to Real Americans against Los Matadors, isn't it? I mean, it's a strange one. I mean, they're heels, but they're healing it up like being like they hate immigrants and all this, and they're getting cheered for it. It's a bit of a strange reaction to get, really. I thought it was a pretty nothing match, but yeah, I mean,
it's weird.
Say, really. I mean,
it's weird. It is weird.
Yeah.
And then it's just got even more weird because, El Torito, wears like this pretty much bull gimp kind of mask, and then all of a sudden, Uncle Zeb brings out a whip. What? Some kind of domination shit's going on in WWE. Like, they need to stop that.
It's going to be Uncle Zeb versus El Torito and Hell in a Cell, like last minute match.
El Torito doing some midget hurricanranas. That would be some sick shit. Clay got the big swing, but Swagger actually took the win. I mean, obviously, Lewis, you've been watching it a couple of weeks now. Was you surprised that, Clay took the big swing, but Swagger got the finish?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure when he did the big swing to Khali that he pinned him from that. And also, before that, was it just me that thought Sweet Tea had a head injury? Was blood coming out of his head? Yeah, no, it looked like he got hit with, like, something did lick him and he, some blood was coming from somewhere. Where was it coming from? The blood was coming from the top of his head. Oh, wow. Well, I didn't really, I just saw, because it was a pretty, boring match, and it wasn't particularly paying attention, but I just saw a spot of red on the top of his head. He got busted. They gave that guy some colour. That's what they did. All right, well, segment 10 was the Shield versus Usos. Firstly, Shooks, did you like the new Cody Goldust music?
I can't say that I really heard it or heard any difference, because I think they must have just trialed it for one show, because when I watched it on Smackdown, I was listening out for the music, and they just came out separately. So I think this must just have been a one-off thing that flopped, because they haven't done it again since.
You could barely hear it. You could barely hear Cody's stuff. Like, it was a bit awkward. But yeah, I mean, sure. What did you think of the match anyway?
Yeah, I just think that these lot have got obviously a good chemistry, and they're making the matches exciting. They're changing up the matches. Like, I remember back in when we had the Kane and Daniel Bryan, and they were wrestling against the Shield, and they had good chemistry. I just think they've got each other figured out. They're working well, and the matches just seem to be at the high pace, and everyone's making each other look good. That's what they're doing, rather than being out for themselves. It seems like they're all trying to make each other look good, and make the feud look really positive.
Okay. Steve, you interested in this three-way tag match?
Yeah, I mean, I've been surprised with Cody and Goldust. They're really over with the crowd, and the Usos and the Shield. I think they're the two best teams in the division. So I think it'll be a really good match.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's different because we haven't seen a three-way tag, like a real proper three-way tag with some good, tag teams in it for a while. And obviously this is a big emphasis on the tag team division, which is, Triple H again is looking to bring in some guys from NXT in to kind of show it up a bit better. But speaking of NXT, I'm hearing Tyler Breeze is on the road with the roster on the live events. So it looks like soon, he may be getting a call up. They love the gimmick. I I mean, there's not really a gimmick like that right now in in the WWE, so it's definitely warranted. So Tyler Breeze, do your thing. Right.
I'm pretty sure I brought this up with Sugs during the week, but Raw next week is in Orlando, so I would like to see some NXT superstars on that.
Yeah.
Obviously, being based there, so it would make sense for them to be some. Well, there will be.
Yeah, well, we may see Xavier Woods. He was mentioned on TV.
Yeah.
But they're just trying to figure out how to kind of bring him in. But we can debate whether that was the best way to mention him last week. But only time will tell. Last segment, guys, segment 11 was just a contract signing. I mean, the big thing that obviously came out of this, like Sugar's mentioned before, was Triple H, chatting smack. I mean, Shugs, just play my music, man. Triple H. I rant on you before, and I'm gonna get you again. I'm gonna get you again because you, my friend, are just messing this whole shit up. How are you gonna discredit, right, people that have been your WWE champions, right? That have been remember, Chris Jericho was the very first undisputed WWE champion, the very first, and you're gonna try and tell us, yeah, that this guy ain't worth shit, that he didn't do shit, but yet you gave him the ball and he pretty much ran with it. You know what I mean? These guys are part of your history, and you're gonna play that shit down. You're making Daniel Bryan look like an absolute pum. How is he gonna win the title from this and progress on any further? How is that gonna happen? Because you're gonna make us think that he's worth nothing. I tell you what should happen: face Daniel Bryan and just take that big lead to your big nose, and we'll just done it there, yeah? Just done it there. Oh god. Anyway, Shugs, did you like, Orton and Bryan, their interaction this week? Because obviously it was a bit different with the contract signing, and everyone was kind of about putting their 2 cents in.
Yeah, I think, they've been decent on the mic. Orton is not, the greatest on the mic, and Daniel Bryan goes in between being good and being just like a shouty goat. So, I think it was okay. Contract signings are contract signings. It's the same shit every time. So, I think they just put it in there to try and, mix it up a bit. And, I suppose it achieved its purpose, really, without, doing anything too spectacular.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Steve, I mean, was there any kind of, relevance to Big Show even coming out in a truck?
It was a bit of a strange thing to do, really, channeling the spirit of old Stone Cold. But, yeah, I mean, I thought the matches between Orton and Bryan, the focus of the segment seemed to be on Big Show coming out and interrupting them. I just don't get I don't get the thought process behind that.
Yeah, it was just weird. It was like, oh, it's Big Show. Like, he didn't even knock anyone out. He just came.
The thing that I thought was, I think Big Show's been on GTA 5 a bit too much, because where did he get a lorry from? Why has he turned up in a lorry?
Like, he was in the arena, and then now, he wasn't in the arena, he was wherever he was, and then all of a sudden he's got this big truck. Like, bruv, you're not only in the arena, you're where Raw is. We know Raw's not in the same place every week. You travelled with them, bruv. You know what I'm saying?
Don't you think, I think it was on a podcast this week, I think they said that he looked like a white Suge Knight when he was on the screen. Like, Big Show just up there, the white Suge Knight.
Oh, what podcast was that? Guys, if you're listening, please let us know. Tweet in which podcast that was. Oh my god, I'm not sure whether it. Oh, I can't remember which one it was.
I think it was Court Bauer, that one.
Yeah.
They looked like the white Suge Knight.
Oh, good. All right.
I loved how he's managed to get all the way through the arena, only crashing into about 5 bins.
Yeah, and I think they filmed one earlier on in the afternoon. I think they filmed that earlier on in the afternoon with like a professional driver, because they can't be having fucking Paul White driving a fucking, big rig through the arena, and then he just drove up the ramp and stopped, because my guy looked like he didn't know what the fuck he was doing when he was trying to like put it in gear or stop. So
big hands. All right, guys. Well, that's the end of Raw, people. Raw rating. So, without further ado, Lewis, you will get your first chance. Please give me your Raw rating out of 10, please.
It was pretty good, actually. I'm gonna go 6.5, I'd say.
6.5. Okay, Shugs.
I'm gonna go with 6.5.
6.5. Steve.
When I first watched it, I thought it was about an 8, but thinking about it now, I'm probably going to mark it down to a 7.
7. Okay. Using the Bingers method, yeah?
Yes.
Jace?
I was gonna go with an 8. Like, it just had me laughing. I was enjoying it. Like, even that moment with the X Factor, it kind of made me watch a Divas match for a second there. So I think that's an 8 rating.
It's 8. Okay, it's the highest one we've had in a while. So, it's an 8. All right, guys, we're gonna go to fan feedback now. So, Shugs, would you like to read off the message board, our new message board, please?
Yeah. So I've got a message from James Powers 33. I think he's one of our followers on Twitter. So he says, Raw was better than last Monday for the Golem show to a pay-per-view than the last few have been. Big Show's characters standing up to the corporation is going from strength to strength. It's bigging up the Daniel Bryan versus Dean Ambrose match. Said it was energetic between two great wrestlers. Great way to start the show. Trying to make the Big E push, standing up to the Heymans with his team. Talk about Punk. He just gets better and better. Totally the best in the world. He's a guy that WWE can call on in any situation to just, deliver the goods, which I agree with. Contract signing was pure gold. There's tension between Triple H and HBK. The only thing that threw me is HBK has been on Raw 3 weeks in a row. Are we supposed to believe this is the first time he and Hunter have talked about the match? And then Big Show rides it up again, turning the show into a great finish and great way by giving the yes chance. And he gave it a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can talk about his predictions later in the show.
Yeah. I just want to big up James. James, as I said on Twitter, first 5 people on the message board will get a chance to be a guest on the show. You'll get your chance in a couple of weeks, my friend. So, yeah, I'll holler at you, all right? All right, people, well, we're going to go to a break now. So grab your juice, as usual, whatever you want. Next, we're going to have Smackdown in 60 seconds, Sugs Stunners, and an interview by Place to Be Nation podcast own Justin Rozerro. So, people, be back soon.
Hey guys, this is Justin Rozerro from the Place to Be podcast and PlaceToBeNation.com, and you will listen to my boys, Sunday Segue Wrestling. Check it out each and every week.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segue Wrestling podcast. What?
Every Sunday with Kinny Killa and the Galdem Sugar Sugs.
Yes! Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segue Wrestling podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slap nut?
Hello everyone, welcome back. Sunday Segue, episode 31. It is me, Kinny Killa, here with the Galdem Sugar Sugs, Jace Clarkson, Louis Hatton, and Steve Dawson. So, we're going to get right into it. Smackdown in 60 seconds. Roll with it, Sugs.
Okay, so the Usos against Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. Miz came out and tracked Bray Wyatt and then ran away like a little pum that he is, and Wyatt chased him, and the Usos took the advantage to double team Harper and win. AJ, Big Mama Cool against Nikki Bella, and Nikki Bella puts the Black Widow on, and you know what happens when the Black Widow comes on, you tap the fuck out. Los Matadors and 3MB against the Real Americans. They defeated 3MB, and we get the Real Americans coming out, and we get some sick lucha moves by El Torito. Then we get a backstage segment with the Wyatt family. They caught the little poor Miz, and they've got him tied up, and he's just passed out, tied up. There's some crates in the back, which is amazing, and they wrote liar across his chest. Ryback and Paul Heyman bring out a local jobber called CM Skunk, and they play Punk's music, and then Heyman just beats the absolute living shit out of him with a kendo stick. Vicky Guerrero puts Big E in the main event because Miz has been tied up. Del Rio comes out, delivers a shit promo. Khali and Fandango were supposed to have a match, and Natalia and Summer Rae had a little bit of a bitch fight, and then Khali done a big chop on Fandango, and that was the end of that. Then we get Bryan, Rhodes, Goldust against, and Big E against The Shield and Randy Orton. And then we get Orton looking for an RKO, but Langston takes him out, and then Bryan caught Orton with a flying knee, and they pick up the win. Fade to black.
Fade to black. Sounds like an interesting Smackdown. Okay, guys, just make sure you don't get catched, because you're about to get catched for the Sugs Stunners.
Okay, so job of the week. I suppose it's a bit of a difficult one this week because we haven't had many people, you know, actually doing the job. We haven't seen our usual favourites. Like, we haven't seen Sandow losing when he's not supposed to, and we haven't seen Cesaro, you know, jobbing out. So I'm going to give it to a well-deserved, maybe a first time ever, to 3MB.
Hey!
Okay, because they're the #1 jobbers on the show, and I think it was the 5th time in a row that they've fought Los Matadores. Okay, so that's a pile of shit. Move of the week is El Torito. You have to watch it. He jumps over the ropes, then lands on him, bounces back up, and then does a backwards, like a sunset flip, onto one of the 3MB dickheads. I don't know who, but it was a great move. And
that's a quote right there. One of the 3MB dickheads.
And wrestler of the week, I'm going to give it to Big E Langston.
Yes, Bled.
He's
Big E.
been nowhere, and then he's come back with a vengeance, and the guy just looks so fucking jacked. He is huge. He is huge. So I'm going to give it to Big E. He looked good on both shows, and Big E. Big up Big E.
Big up my man Big E. Okay, well, we're going to go straight into the WWE Hell in a Cell predictions. We're going to breeze through this quite quick. Shugs, you got the spreadsheet?
Spreadsheet's up.
It's up. That's why Shugs just fucking knows, man. He just knows. All right. Axel versus Big E. Shugs, who's taking it down?
This is on the kickoff, and I think that it's the Weetabix time to say goodbye. And we need, there's a new sheriff in town, and his name is Big E Langston.
Lewis, who's your pick?
Gotta agree with Shugs. Gotta be Big E.
Big E. Jace.
I want it to be Big E, but it'll be Curtis Axel.
Oh!
They're gonna drag it out. It's gonna keep going.
Ooh, okay. Steve.
I hope and I pray to the wrestling god that is JBL that Big E takes it.
Okay. I'm with Big E too. Big E all the way. Del Rio versus John Cena, as Santino likes to call him. Lewis, who you picking?
Doesn't matter because Sanders gonna cash in afterwards.
Ooh. Okay, but we still need your prediction.
I'm not sure about this one really because there's good reasons for both of them, but I can see Del Rio winning from the cross arm breaker.
Okay, Del Rio. Jace.
I can see it being a cross arm breaker, but Cena making some miraculous recovery. I reckon Cena.
Shugs.
Cena. Don't ever bet against Cena.
Steve.
Yeah, Cena for me as well. I think the World Heavyweight title needs a bit of prestige back. I think Cena's the one to do it.
Okay. I'm also picking John Cena, because it's John Cena, and it's just John Cena. All right, CM Punk versus Heyman, Ryback. Steve, who are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going with Punk. Hopefully this feud is done and dusted now. It's been going on at least 2 months too long, and yeah, hopefully Heyman gets a nice beating, and hopefully it finishes with Punk on top.
Okay. Shugs?
Yeah, I'm going for Punk. I agree with Steve. It's just enough's enough now. You know, we've had our time with this. It's been good, but enough's enough.
In the words of Owen Hart, and that's enough, and it's time for a change.
I'm going to kick your leg off your leg.
Oh, Lewis, who are you picking?
We'll make it 3 out of 3. Too long. It's like you just got to get it over with. Punk, definitely.
Jake, 4 out of 4?
See, I'm going against it. I'm going against it. I reckon it's going to be something stupid like Ryback's going to be out cold, Punk is after Heyman, then Ryback suddenly comes out of nowhere, and then Heyman pins Punk. That's my prediction.
Again, okay. I'm going for CM Punk. AJ versus Bree. Who gives a fuck? JC, you go for
AJ.
Steve.
Yeah, AJ as well.
Shugs.
AJ.
Lewis.
AJ.
And I'm also going for AJ.
Unanimous.
Rhodes family versus Usos versus Shield. Shugs, who's taking that down?
Thing is, if the Usos win, like, where does that take the storyline? Where does that take anything? So I think either it's going to be a Rhodes retain or Shield win. I think the Shield are going to get the titles back.
Okay. Chase?
I reckon Rhodes will win. I want Usos, but it goes back to the whole what are they going to do with the Shield? Like, and then if the Usos win, what are they going to do? I reckon Rhodes is going to retain it.
Rhodes retain. Steve?
Yeah, I'm going for Cody Dust, as I call them.
I've just called them Road Dust.
Road Dust. You can go either way.
Alright, Cody Dust. I write Cody Dust in yours.
Cody Dust. Lewis?
Going with Sandow cashing in, Sandow Rhodes feud, so I'm going with the Shield.
Shield, okay. I'm also going for the Shield. We've got Los Matadores versus the Real Americans. Steve, who takes this down?
Yeah, I think it'd be very stupid to have Los Matadores coming with all this hype and all these wins over the mighty 3MB and have them lose their first pay-per-view match. So I'm going with Diego and Fernando.
Okay. Lewis?
Yeah, gonna be a piss poor match, but gonna be a Los Matadores, isn't it?
Jace?
Same as Lewis.
Los Matadores. Shugs?
I'm going for the Real Americans then.
Ooh, Real Americans. Okay. I'm going for Los Matadores. You know, El Torito taking the whip from Coulter and whipping his ass up. All right, so main event, Orton versus Bryan. Shugs.
This is hard.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm going to bet on a no finish.
No. Okay, Shugs, if you bet on a no finish right now, and it is a no finish, regardless of all the other results, you win the predictions, okay? Win the predictions. Is that fair?
Okay.
All right, so you're going for a no finish again?
Yeah.
Okay. Jace?
I don't know. I don't want to. The thing is, Shugs had a go at me last time because I dragged that out. I don't know. Can you come back to me?
I'll come back. Steve.
It is a tough one. I don't think Bryan can afford to lose another one after they put him down so much in the last month or so. But I think Orton's going to take it.
Okay. And who else is left? Lewis?
I'm with Jace. I have no idea. I'm hoping it's going to be Bryan, and I'm hoping there's going to be a super kick somewhere.
Okay, but you're hoping. But who is it?
I'm going to go Bryan.
Bryan. Okay, Jace.
I'm about to flip plank. Okay, head is Bryan, tails is Orton. Okay, it's tails. I go with Orton.
Oh, is that Plank, yeah? Plank.
Yeah, that's Plank.
Oh,
Plank's
wow.
still about, man.
Plank's been all over the world. He's been the New York people. I'm back. God damn. Okay, so who did you pick?
Orton.
Okay, I am going with Orton just because they will not have two face champions. Okay, so I'm going for Orton.
Sandow's not face.
Ooh, Lewis, you bastard. I'm still going Orton. Yeah, I'm still going Orton. Yeah, Orton. Okay, guys, so right now we're going to go into an interview that I did earlier on in the week with Justin Rozerro from the Place to Be Nation. They were very thankful with the interview, and they bigged us up on their show, so I'm about to do the same. So, people, listen to the interview. Justin Rozerro, Place to Be Nation. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast. It is me, Kinny Killa, and I'm here with Justin Rozerro from the Place to Be Nation podcast, all the way from the States. How you doing, Justin?
I am doing very well, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. I've been looking forward to it.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So what we normally do for the listeners, when we first meet someone and, we get a guest on the show, is we ask them for their best Fandango impression. So hopefully this is okay. So, without further ado, can you please give us your best Fandango impression, please?
Oh man, on the spot. All right. My name is Justin Rozerro. Was that all right?
That was brilliant, mate. That was
Okay.
brilliant. Okay, so I'm just gonna go straight into it, man. Just tell us a bit about how you got into wrestling.
So I first got into it, I want to say 1989, 1990. I was about 9. My brother was always a big fan, and my dad, and they kind of transitioned me into it, and then my cousin and I kind of got into it at the same time. We're the same age. And I'm sure my dad kind of regrets getting me started because what probably was a pastime to him became quite a hobby for me. So by WrestleMania 6, I was fully on board and never really looked back. I mean, the only time I waned maybe just a little bit was when I started college, but even then I was still pretty big fan. So I've never had that little period that, you know, some people have where they kind of say, oh, I left for a couple of years and got back into it. I just never have. Just always been something I've enjoyed, and I've always had at least 1 or 2 other friends kind of that was into it at the same time. And then just when kind of all hope looked a little bit lost, when I left college, I moved down to Connecticut, which is, I live in Rhode Island here in the United States. Connecticut's right next to us in New England. And I didn't have, you know, a lot of my friends had kind of moved away, so I was kind of relying on the internet for my wrestling fix. And then I ran into my, who would eventually become my partner on the Place to Be podcast, Scott Criscolo. He worked at that same company that I started at. And we started just talking randomly one day about wrestling, and he was as big a junkie as I am, so that kind of reinvigorated me. And so that's pretty much my journey as far as how I started and then how I kind of became reinvigorated to this next phase of being a wrestling fan.
So what was your earliest wrestling memory then?
Oh, it had to be. There was a couple of little like Saturday Night Main Event kind of things I remember. I remember the Zeus, Hogan and Beefcake hitting Zeus with a chair on that Saturday Night Main Event leading into SummerSlam. So I remember that. And then I remember the Genius and Mr. Perfect defeating Hogan in was it Warrior? I think it was Warrior. And then Hogan losing to Genius by count. Like those are kind of my first memories of like specific things I remember. And then coming out of the Rumble and into Mania, I obviously remember the build to the Ultimate Challenge very well.
Yeah.
And then once I hit 6, I can tell you everything inside and out at that point. But yeah, I'd say my first real memory is that chair duel between Hogan, Beefcake, and Savage and Zeus.
Tell me a bit about the Place to Be Nation and how it began.
Sure. So like I mentioned, Scott and I met in 2003, became friends quickly. In like around 2004, 2005, we decided to start doing these written pay-per-view reviews because he was without cable. He was waiting for his DirecTV to be installed, and just kind of bored. He started watching all the pay-per-views in order, every night.
Oh wow!
And he's like, while I'm watching these, I might as well write a little review of them. So he sent me his first one, and I said, oh, this looks like fun. I'll join you. I'll do it too. And they were terrible. it was like a mini newsletter. We'd send it to like 7 of our friends to read, and then as they grew, we got a little bit better. We actually went back and redid it. We started again at WrestleMania 1 once we kind of had our format down, and we started kind of sending them out different message boards. And my buddy had a very popular message board at the time that we were on. And then just different blogs and different websites we'd send them to, and just kind of gained some traction. And then I want to say around 2007, 2008, we became friends with Graham Cawthon, who owns and runs the history of WWE.com. I'm not sure if you're familiar with his site.
Yeah.
And he just put out a great book. I got it in the mail this week. I can't wait to dive into it. So definitely check that out if you can. So once we got onto his site, he started posting the reviews for us, and he gets tons of hits. So we were starting to build a following through his site and through our own board and work there. So we were just churning those out, and that was pretty much our main work, was just these written reviews and other stuff we had on the message board. That was kind of our home. And then in 2011, I went to Scott because he was always big into radio. He's a radio guy. He had been on locally for a few years, and I was a big TV guy. So we both kind of had this little itch we were looking to scratch. And he had been doing a little bit of internet radio with one of his friends, and I was listening to the show, and I'm like, man, this is good, but I don't think too many people. It's tough with internet wrestling or internet radio rather when you have a set time that you need to listen to. Because I'd want to hear his show, but it was on like 11:30 in the morning on like a Tuesday, and I'm like, I just can't do it.
Yeah,
it's hard. So I told him, I said, I really think podcasting's the way to go. I'm like, I think we both have the talent to pull it off, and we both know what we're talking about. And I said, let's give it a roll. So we pretty much just started from scratch. in February of 2011 was our first episode.
Oh, wow.
And again, just kind of grassroots. We just kind of built. We used the message board. We used our following from the reviews, and we used Facebook was big for us. We really got everyone involved, and we kind of built and built. And part of our goal early on was to engage our listeners and really make them part of the show, part of the family. So we would encourage them to submit feedback. We'd read it all on air. We would have them on as guests wherever we could. And that really helped foster what we call Place to Be Nation. That's where that started. We have a Facebook group, not only just a fan page, but also like a chat group where we all hang out. And it evolves to the point that we all went to, about 30 of us met at WrestleMania this year in New Jersey.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
We had a great, I mean, when I tell you, like, anything that you've ever planned, nothing will ever work out as well as this weekend did. It was amazing that we were able to pull it all together. We went to Ring of Honor, we went to the Hall of Fame, and we went to Mania. We tailgated. We had about 30-something people at the tailgate in the parking lot. It was an amazing time. It was really cool getting to meet everyone.
It sounds like a plan and a half, man. It sounds like a plan and a half.
It was a lot. Everyone did great. They came through. We collected money, and we were shopping in the morning, and then we were good to go. So, but anyway, so around that time, so we were, I want to say around April, we were probably around like 230 episodes in. Right now we're about 270. So the thing had built, and we started getting some real guests, like I'm good friends with RJ Brewer from Libre USA, also known as John Walters, and he was able to get us in with a few different guests. And he set us up with Kevin Kelly, and we became friends with Kevin. So now he comes on probably about once every 8 weeks or so. And as we're moving through, part of our show is that we review old wrestling pay-per-views like we used to, written-wise. So as we hit the mid-year point and the end of every year, Kevin comes on and allows us to ask him questions about what was going on in the WWF at that time. And he's very, very forthright and very open. So I definitely, if there's any of our podcasts that I recommend to people to get into, it's those interviews with Kevin. I think we've done about probably 9 or 10 of them now.
Okay.
And we've had a lot of other great guests, too. We talked to Christopher Daniels. We've talked to J.J. Dillon, was an awesome one. He gave us like 3 hours. It was split over 2 episodes. Harvey Whippleman was really good.
Harvey Whippleman.
Yeah, he had some great, that guy, he's been around a long time, and he has some really cool stories. Scott Keith we talked to, of course, and Christopher Robin Zimmerman, a couple of guys that are big in the internet wrestling community.
Yeah.
So we definitely had a lot of cool interviews and a lot of cool guests. And so in June of this year, our friend and listener Brad Woodland came to us and said, hey, I know you guys have mentioned before on the podcast, maybe like start a website. And I'm like, yeah. I said, I just don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm like, I have no idea how to do any of this. So he's like, well, I can help you. He's like, I've done it before. You know, let me know what you want and what you envision. So we met one night, me, him, Scott, and Chad Campbell, who's part of Where the Big Boys Play podcast. They pretty much do what we do, but they do it for NWA and WCW pay-per-views.
Oh, okay.
So we met and we came up with a plan, and we decided to make it a mix of wrestling and pop culture. So if anyone out there is familiar with grantland.com, Bill Simmons' website out of ESPN, that's kind of what we were looking for in theory, was just a mix of sports, pop culture.
Yeah.
And we were looking to stay away from the news kind of stuff. Like every website brings news and has pictures of, you know, Sable naked and everything else. So we wanted to stay away from that. So we really focused on doing just kind of opinions in longer form pieces. So say a big story broke, instead of busting to get it out and get the news posted with everyone else, we said, hey, let's take a couple days. We'll look at it, analyze about what it means, and then we'll post an article. And that's kind of what our goal has been. And it's really evolved just since June. Our viewership and readership has really grown. And, we'll do live, like last night we had a live blog of the UFC pay-per-view. Tonight we're going to do one for Bound for Glory. We got 2 or 3 guys who will be live blogging that show.
Oh, wow, okay.
So all kinds of stuff. If you're a fan of movies, we have so much good comic stuff too. Our comic writers are really, really good. And I mean, I'm not a comics person, but I read them and I'm like, oh, I kind of get what they're saying because that's how talented they are. So yeah, it's placetobenation.com. We have tons of podcasts as well, a lot of niche wrestling podcasts. So we have one, these guys Wrestling with the Past. They look at all different topics. They analyze the whole year of 1991. So you may like that.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And they did not just North America. They do Lucha, they do Japan, and they really break it down. So, and those are the guys from the Pro Wrestling Only message board. So it's almost like a master's class in wrestling. Those guys give really good stuff. And then we have other kind of off kilter shows like it's called Richer and the Mailman. They do a lot of pop culture. They were big into Breaking Bad, and we just have a very wide variety of both written and audio pieces.
So, who is your favorite current wrestler at the moment?
Current, I mean, I guess it seems obvious, but I'll go Daniel Bryan, as far as the WWE goes, and I've really gotten to Ring of Honor this year, both through, of course, building a relationship with Kevin Kelly and trying to support him, and also on the website, I do a weekly Ring of Honor TV report. So I would say Michael Elgin has quickly become one of my favorites. I really enjoy his the way he just goes out, gives it all his all every match, and really different, almost like a throwback. Not even just because of the mullet, but also because of the size and the style. So I would say those are two of my favorites to watch currently.
Okay, and this is one for you. Who is your favorite wrestler of all time?
All right, I have two right here that I'm going to tier. So my absolute all time, if I had to pick one guy that I'm going to take his matches with me wherever I go and to preach would be Randy Savage.
Oh, wow.
Always loved Macho Man growing up, and always one of my favorites. Of course, very sad when he passed away a couple years ago. And second would be Kurt Angle. Kurt was a guy I got hooked into as soon as he made his debut in '99. And another guy that I just loved. I could watch his matches all day and his promo work, and especially some of the stuff in 2000 when his really was able to kind of show off his comedy chops. And, so another guy's kind of made me sad over the last couple of years with all the trouble he's run into. So he's a guy, just a guy I hope he can just get things straightened out, and a guy that part of me wishes had retired a few years ago, just so he can kind of give his body a rest and relax and get it together. But I'll always be a fan of Kurt.
Can you just let me know when your podcasts are on, and let the listeners know, where to go to find you and so on and so on?
Oh, sure, absolutely. So we're available a multitude of places. Of course, it's the Place to Be podcast. PlaceToBeNation.com is our main home. Every episode will be there. We also have an iTunes feed, so you can search for us on iTunes and we'll come up, and you can just subscribe to us through there. We're on Facebook at Facebook.com/PlaceToBeNation. And we also have a live chat group that we can invite you to. It's a hidden group, but this is where, like I mentioned before, a lot of our listeners, we've all come together. And it's really cool. We just talk wrestling pretty much throughout the day. So it's really become kind of a family. We're also on Stitcher.com. They have an app and a website, so you can find us there. And again, if you just search Place to Be Podcast, you can find us pretty easily on the web. We usually have shows up late on Eastern Time Zone. On Monday nights and Wednesday nights are usually when they get posted, probably around 11 o'clock p.m. But if you wake up Tuesday and Thursday morning, they should be in your iTunes feed.
Cool. Right. Hey, there you heard it there, people. Justin just gave you the lowdown. Justin, just thank you very much for taking the time out. I know it's probably after 11 in the morning, where you are. So, thanks for taking the time out to speak to me. I'm sure to make sure that I'll speak to you again soon. So, Justin, from all of us here, thank you very much.
Absolutely, guys. Stay in touch. We'll talk to you soon.
And that was the interview with Justin Rozerro there, people. Be sure to follow them on Twitter and check out their website. Listen to all their shows as well, people. Download the Stitcher Radio. They're very nice guys, and they've got a lot of content. So, make sure to check them out, people, okay? And that's the end of the show. Wicked show, guys. Always thanks to my brother, Jace Clarkson.
What's going on? I'm going to come see you this week. So,
yes.
I'm about.
Okay, boom.
Whether I bother you at home or at work, you'll see me this week.
I like that, man. Just coming out of the rafters from just hanging around like Sting, just somewhere in the rafters. Also, 4 weeks on the road, Steve Dawson.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, always welcome, always welcome. And our number one fan, this won't be the only time he'll be on the show. Louis, thanks, man.
That's all right, thank you. I enjoyed it. It's good.
Wicked. Don't get too much of a fright when you hear your voice on the, when you download that just to listen back.
Well, I know Steve's worried about his voice, but I know mine's twice as bad, so.
You're all right, mate. And I cannot do this without the hashtag tech guy, the gal them sugar. Shugs.
It's a pleasure, as always. Pleasure.
Bad man idea with the message board. Pushing that shit to the sun.
I was coming like Wilfred Zaha yesterday, doing that techers, but like another defeat, but onwards and upwards. Every day's a struggle.
There you go.
At least United won.
Yeah, by the skin of their blood cup.
I was going to say. Jesus.
Doesn't matter. That all remember is the results at the end of the year. Doesn't matter how it happens, we just remember it happened.
There you go. Right, so in the words of this week is again by The Rock.
Rock, we are less than a week away from one of the biggest challenges of your career, competing for the WWE title in a match you've never competed in before. A Hell in a Cell match where you and 5 other men.
This Sunday in Hell in a Cell, The Rock gets to compete against 5 other guys. Even if The Rock was to beat Kurt Angle, which means I'm gonna drink a big glass of milk, eat some chocolate chip cookies, and maybe take free Viagra. Or maybe The Rock is gonna beat Rikishi. I did it for The Rock. I did it for the people. I did it. Oh, shut up, you thong-wearing fatty. Or maybe The Rock has to beat The Undertaker, the American badass. Beat him so bad that he raises up one more time. Rest in peace. Or maybe The Rock has to beat Triple H, which means I'm gonna beat the game in the middle of the ring. And he has a $2 slut for a wife. Or maybe, just maybe, The Rock has to beat Stone Cold Steve Austin, which means I'm gonna get in my pickup truck, drink some Steve Weisers, and listen to some Backstreet Boys, cause that's the bottom line, cause the Great One said so. And one more thing, this Sunday night at Armageddon, The Rock will do all he can to win the WWF title. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, and you can choke on that slap nuts. Woo!